Guys, this is your last measurement lesson. Measurement's so much fun. Okay, so basically today what we're doing in 15-5 is we're using objects to measure because it would be very hard to measure something like this if you only had a ruler. So if you were told, here it says to measure in inches. So if I find the inch side and I start at the 0 and I measure across, I get about 5 inches. The problem is this curves, so it's actually longer than 5 inches. So what we're gonna do today is you're gonna get to use a piece of string or some kind of material to measure with. It's super fun. You can use ribbon, yarn, anything that you have at home that is flexible will work. So what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna start at the very end, line it up, and then what I do is I use my fingers to push it down until it gets to the curve. I leave my finger there, I plant it, and then I bend it to be the next part. Then I push my finger down, put it up and push it so that it stays put, and then I measure the last part, and then I kind of like push my fingernail right into the end there so that I know that this part of the string, without moving my finger, is how long it was. Then, without moving my finger, I can take it, start at the 0, and when I go all the way across, actually it's just over, it's 5.5 inches. So we're gonna round up to 6, it's closer to 6 inches, which is interesting. So it's really fun. So you try measuring it and see if you get about the same measurement that I just got. If I was gonna start with this chain and measure straight across just from end to end, I get 4 inches. But I'm guessing it's gonna be quite a bit longer because of the way it curves. So really this is like patience right now. Just doing this slowly. You can see how I kind of put my fingers down as I go so that the string isn't moving at all. It takes some time to practice and become really good at it. And then I take my fingers and my nail and I just push it in there when I get to the end, and I don't let go so I remember how long it was. And then I make sure I'm the inch side. I start at the 0 and hold it down. Whoa, this time it's 7 inches, which is a lot longer than 4 inches. So I said the chain is about 6 because it's 5.5, you round up to 6. The chain is 7 inches, and then the snake. So you guys should be measuring this with me. Like, practice, see if you're getting, because honestly, guys, the idea is that you're just practicing being careful in how to lay this string down, or ribbon or yarn or whatever you have at home. Thread. It has to be flexible though. I'm going to go out to the end of his tongue, stop right there. Okay. I'm going to guess the snake is the longest. I'm guessing it's closer to 7 or 8 inches, I would think. So I'm going to hold this down at 0. Ooh, 8.5. So actually, since it's over the halfway mark, we're going to round up to 9. The snake's almost 9. And that's if you go out to its, like, the very end of its tongue. Ooh, that was fun. So guys, all today is measuring using a ruler and some kind of tool. So basically the idea is, if you read at the top, read and understand, how can you measure an object that's not straight? So you'll need to use a ruler to measure straight objects, and now we're gonna do a string to help you measure objects that are not straight. So if you solve, look back and check, the snake is about 5 inches long. Oh, I said it was 6 because I rounded it up to, this is a different snake, never mind. I was like, wait, that's not what I got. That's okay. This is this green snake here. So the idea is that you're using a string to measure as you go. So here, this red line, what you have to just remember is put at the end and then push down when you get to the part where it bends. Switch and push down, okay? It's really just about not going too terribly fast so that you can make sure that you're being careful. And then what you should do instead of just writing in the 5 is actually check and see, like, did I get about 5 inches? let's see, I got almost 5 inches. It's about 4 3/4, so you'd round up to 5. So that seems right to me. So make sure, like, practice, take your time, and see if you get about 5. If you don't get about 5, try measuring again, because it means maybe you're going too fast. Maybe you're not holding the string down in the right places. So what we're gonna do today is just go ahead and measure all these designs here. And then, do you understand? How can objects help you to find the length of a curvy path? By objects, it kind of, like today we're using a string. So how can this string as an object help you find curvy paths? How does a string help you measure this instead of just like using a ruler? Okay, it is very useful. So how does that help you? So we're gonna keep going. Remember, this is all inches here. And then this is spatial thinking. Would it take more feet or more yards to measure the length of a roof? So this is something I want you to think about, is if you were gonna measure in feet, okay? This is a foot, 12 inches equals a foot. If you were gonna measure something, 1 foot, 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet, just keep going, okay? And then if you had a yardstick, this huge, massive thing, right? Would you need more feet or more yards? No matter what you're measuring, which one would you need more of? Because you're doing it again and again and again, okay? And then the last part, solve the problems below. The blank is longer than the worm. The worm is longer than the blank. So the snake is longer than the what? Okay, so these are all comparing. Remember, when you compare something, something's longer, something's shorter, right? All the time. So none of these are gonna be equal. So what you're gonna wanna do is, I would suggest I'll do the caterpillar with you first. Okay, it's only 1 inch. Okay. The blank is longer than the worm. The caterpillar is definitely not longer than the worm. I would say the snake is longer than the worm. And we're gonna make sure. Guys, remember to try measuring this yourself too. The snake is almost 5 inches. The worm, oof, this guy is tiny. It's okay, I can do it. Ooh. Got about 2.5, so I'm gonna round up to 3 inches. Okay, so the snake is longer than the worm. Yeah, I would say the snake is longer. Okay, the worm is longer than the what? So the snake is longer than what? So if the snake is longer than the worm and the worm is longer than the caterpillar, then the snake is also longer than which other one? So it's just all about comparing and being able to prove when you compare two different things. If you compare these two things and you compare these two things, then it should make sense that you can also compare those two things. All right, number 9, the snake is 11 inches long. The worm is 6 inches shorter than the snake and 4 inches longer than a caterpillar. How long is the caterpillar? Okay, there's a lot of comparing here. Instead of just getting confused, what's a way that you can problem solve it? I would say draw it out, label it, okay? We've talked about stuff like this before. Don't just stare at it and guess. That is not what good mathematicians do. Instead, try to draw a picture and try to help your brain visualize what's going on. So if we have a snake that's 11 inches, whatever, 11 inches, just label it, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect. The worm is 6 inches shorter than the snake. Oh, so the snake's 11 inches, the worm is 6 inches shorter. It doesn't mean it's 6 inches, it means it's 6 inches shorter. What's 6 inches shorter than 11? We can use this like a number line. If we're at 11 inches and we go 6 inches shorter, counting backwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 11 minus 6 is 5. So that means the worm, so this is the snake, this is the worm, is 5 inches. Do you see how I'm like actually doing the problem, right? So I'm not just taking a guess, I'm not just taking these numbers and adding or subtracting. I'm actually gonna do the work and show what my brain is going through. Okay, we're not quite done. The worm is 6 inches shorter than the snake. Okay, so this worm is 6 inches shorter than the snake. I feel good about that. And 4 inches longer than the caterpillar. Oh, so if this is 6 inches shorter than the snake, and this is 4 inches longer than the caterpillar. If this is longer than the caterpillar's got to be short, right? Caterpillar. It makes sense that if the worm is longer, the caterpillar is shorter. 4 inches longer. So if this is 5 inches and 4 of the inches are longer, right? What's left over right here? This is how long that caterpillar is. If it's 4 inches longer, right, we like hack it off, don't really kill it, then the part that's left over will tell you how long that caterpillar is. So I encourage you, when you see something like this, start circling the quantities, draw the picture, help yourself visualize it. And the very last part is the journal. Draw a picture with a curvy path, measure the path and tell how long it is. So you get to draw any curve you want, and then measure it and tell me how long it is. Have fun, guys.